hold on. Good. Okay. So I'm just gonna start anyways. So the aim of this, Tracy, could you please mute, or should I just mute you from here? Okay, I think I have. Thank you. So the main purpose for today's class is to be able to accurately cost our uh, cakes at the end of this class and be able to make our lives easier while doing the costing. The main purpose, what I believe will be success at the end of this class, will be that every single person understands the fundamental of costing, whatever cake or food they're cooking, and be able to apply that concept to whatever they do in the future. So pretty much that's the objective, and kindly follow me as we go on so that you don't miss any part of this. Anyways, if you got my email, obviously you got my email. If you're here, I attached this template to it. Please, if you have any questions or if you want to stop me while I'm speaking, feel free to drop something in the chat room or mute yourself and let me know. So sorry, did someone say something? Okay, if I have no questions, I'll just go ahead. So if you've spent a little bit of time to look at this template, you will understand that what I did here is pretty much say, put all ingredients. Yeah, this one I admit everybody at once, right? Okay, so when you look here, I'm just gonna minimize this. Way down. That's disturbing. So let's say, for example, you went shopping for all your ingredients and you buy them in bulk. This is where I want us to understand the concept. Hopefully, I won't have to go back to this. When you put all your ingredients that you've bought, okay, what this template is doing is saying, I want to get a measurement unit so that whenever I want to bake, I can measure accurately. Now, when you look at what I did, my measuring unit was pretty much baking cups and tablespoon and all of that. Yours doesn't have to be that. Yours could be kilograms, right? I don't know. Some of us may have, this is not big enough, right? But if you can see the video, you can see there's a food scale here that pretty much helps you measure whatever. So the concept is that, let's say I went to the market and I bought a bag of flour for 25 kilograms, right? So let me just do an example here so that you can see as we go. Can you still see my screen?
Sure.
Okay, good, thanks. So let's say, I'm just gonna call it flour here, right? Let's say I got flour, and now I want my unit measure is probably, I want it to be 1 kilogram, right? Just put in 1 kilogram here, and then I put 1 here. However, when I bought the bag of flour, it was 25 kilograms. Let's say I bought it for, I don't know, let's just make it easy, 25,000, Now, what I'm going to put here in my units per container is 25, okay? So basically what I'm saying is I have 25 kilograms in this bag of flour that I bought, and I want my measurement to be 1 kilogram, right? So for example, now you can see it automatically calculated that. So in a case where, let's say I used 0.5 kilograms to bake, I'm still gonna step back 1 second, and I come here, I don't need this, and I come here and I say flour, and I put 0.5, right? It's gonna calculate and tell me, does that look right? 57.14. That to me, if 1 kilogram is, yeah, no, that doesn't look right. Do I have another flour there? Oh yeah, that's the problem. Look, I have flour here. So I have to name this something else, right? So let's call this Flaw 2, okay? Now, if I come here and I say Flaw 2, just gonna type 2, yeah, and hit enter. Look, it's just gonna pick it up and say it's 500 Naira worth of flour that I used. So now let me backtrack. If you used cups, if you use cups, that's fine. All we're saying is at one point in time, you either do a research to find out how many measuring cups are in whatever bag or container that you bought. If you do that one time, you're just going to record it in your master data. I want to call this your master data, right? If you cannot research and find it, you can do the measurement. For example, if I buy, 5 kilograms of rice now, for example, I can spend the time on one day and use my measuring cup to scoop, it into another container and count how many cups I have, right? If I do that, it's gonna be, peculiar to me. Someone else may not be able to use my template, right? Because I did it myself. I measured it myself. So in that instance, all you need to do is go, okay, let's do flour 3 here. Oh, sorry, rice. Let's just say rice now. I used rice. Rice. Um, Here you'll say, maybe one. Here to be 1 kg, right? Or sorry, 1 cup. That's your own measuring cup. Let's say I said 25 kilograms, right? Let's say the price is 10,000. All you need to input here is say, the number of cups you were able to count. If it was 50 cups, you just put it here, 50 cups, and it will tell you 1 cup costs you 200 naira. So the bottom line is that you need to have a standard measuring unit, something that you use to measure all the time so that you are always accurate. And if you already know that I buy 25 kilograms all the time, all you just need to do, if you've done this work once, is to update the price anytime it changes in the market. If you go to the market and this 25 kilogram of rice or now becomes 11,000, all you do is come to your template and change this to 11,000. That's all, right? So I'm just going to pause and ask if everyone is following up to this point. If you have any questions, please ask now, because I'm going to take it one more level. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to assume no questions since nobody is talking. Now, let me take this out. Let me clear this all out. Okay, I'm going to take this out. So I'm just going to go. Okay, I don't want that. Now, let's assume. So let's backtrack. The first thing you want to do for any costing is to ensure that you record all that you spend. So let's assume I run a baking business. If I'm going out shopping today, I want to be able to record, how much I spent on transportation, right? If I took a cab, or if I drove my car, I just want to estimate the gas I spent, right? Let's list that out here. Just for example, let's say Femi is going out to buy things and it goes, okay, gas. Let's say I estimate gas that I spent, maybe 500 naira, right? Um, then in the market, I bought flour. Everything you buy, ensure that you record it. Flour, let's say I bought flour for 25,000, maybe 50 kg. I don't know. I don't know how these things are priced really, but then I buy sugar, right? Let's say another 10,000. Sorry, I have to admit someone into the class. Um, I hope I can change this to automatically admit people in the future because this is kind of distracting. So sugar, 10,000. Let's say that's another 50 kg. Okay. Then what else do we buy? Butter. What was my own measuring for butter? Butter. Okay. I used cups, right? So let's assume we buy butter for 1,000. I don't know. You might want to use cup there. So whatever that is, you'll figure that out when you get them, right? Then what's the last one? I'm just gonna make it easy and say salt. So basically what I'm doing is if you're recording them, you have to make sure you're recording them mentally so that when you get them, you can list them out or take a receipt. At least then you use the receipt when you get them. Let's say salt the same 1,000 maybe for 1 kilogram. So now if I go to the market and I bought all of this, then let me say eggs. Eggs, maybe I bought 10 crates. If I bought 10 crates and one crate is maybe 1,300, that is 13,000. So, sorry, 13,000 should be here. Then it should be 10 crates, right? Okay, so now I just want to assume, because I'm not a baker, I just want to assume that this is everything I bought, right? If I say, okay, now this is all I bought today, my direct materials, the materials I'm going to use to, okay, I'll have to mute you. Okay. Let's assume this is all the materials I bought. All I want to do is go here and say, okay, I have gas, I have flour, I have sugar, I have butter. Just gonna take this and copy it and put it in my master data list of ingredients, right? So okay, there's no gas. I'm gonna take that out. I'm gonna call this flour 2 again, right? Because there's one flour at the top, there's one sugar at the top. I just want to distinguish them, right? Butter 2, just to make it easy. Salt 2, and then eggs. So I pretty much will just come here and say, what is my unit measure? I know this is kilograms, right? And I just say 1 kilogram, right? Sugar, 1 kilogram. Or, spoon or whatever you want to use. Butter, I could say 1 cup. Then salt, I I will use tablespoon there, right? Then eggs, obviously, you know, if you decide to use crates, that means you're talking about 30 eggs, right? If you decide to use, the egg, then that is a single egg, right? So if I say crates, I'm just gonna put it here and come here and say one tablespoon, so 1 crate of egg, right? So here, we're just gonna come here and put the prices, what we bought them for in Naira, right? Very easily, just copy that and paste it here. So you're just going on, and all you need to do is do this once, right? Then this is where you have to do the work. If you have 25 kilograms in your flour bag, all you need to do is put 25 and it tells you you have 1,000 per bag, right? Sugar, how many kilograms did we say was 10,000? We said 50. I'm looking here right now. So we said 50. Then butter, I don't know if you're, what did I use up here? Butter, I said 4 cups, whatever that is. Let's say this is 10, 10 cups. Tablespoon, maybe we can get 200 tablespoons from here. Okay. And then eggs, obviously I know in a crate, there are 30 eggs. And then in 10 crates, which means I have 300, right? So maybe, just maybe I want to change this to, not crates, but single eggs, right? So if I have 13,000, that would be 30 eggs times 10, right? So that's 300. So 43 Naira per egg, right? So now, since I'm not a baker, I'm just gonna fictitiously pick some random, ingredients that I've used. I don't want to touch this, so please ignore this for a second. Let's say now, okay, let's do this. Let me just take it out. Let me take take it out. See if I can just okay. Let's start from here. Flour two. All you need to do is to just type in F, or when you clear this out, F, then two, flour two. Let's say I used 1 kilogram. Easily. Then butter two. I just want to put two in front. This time, let's assume I used 1 cup, right? Just gonna change this to one. So
No, that
sorry, I'll have to mute you. So where was I? Salt. Let's say I used salt. Salt two. We have salt two here. Looks like it's not popping. Oh, look at what I typed. Salt two. Okay, just gonna type that in and say maybe 3 tablespoons, right? What's the next one? Then eggs. So if I used, let's say I used, I don't know, 5 eggs. Pardon me if what I'm saying doesn't make sense to the bakers, but at least you get the idea. You get what I'm saying? So now I just want to erase all the other ones that I put in initially. So now what this has done for you is to say, okay, this is all the materials you use to make this cake now that I went to the market for. So it has calculated all of this for you. You can take all of this out. And it has told you, okay, you've spent 1,331 to bake that particular cake. These are the materials that went into the cake. Now, don't forget, these are just your direct materials. This is easy, right? Now you want to say, okay, I also spent gas. Sorry, when I say gas, it's actually fuel. that's your transportation to the market that we called gas here. So I want to call that fuel. We call it gas here. I'm sorry. So uh, fuel. So I just want to call that 500. Now you ask yourself, aside from the direct materials that went into this, what else went into this baking? If you have an assistant that helps you in baking, and you pay them per order or per time they bake, you might want to put it here and say, assistant wage. That it depends, right? You may not have this, so maybe you pay them 2,000 every time you bake an order. Then what else goes into it? You're thinking about it. So obviously you use an oven, and then there's electricity bills. But maybe, just maybe, your electricity bills are for your home if you walk out of your home, or if you walk out of your bakery or wherever. You have to be able to estimate the power that you use, your electricity bill per order. So how do you do this? You can't get an accurate one the first time you do it, but with time, when you start baking, let me give you an example. So if I've been baking and I have my bakery and I get charged 50,000, this is just fictitious number, 50,000 naira a month for my baking. What I would do is go and look at the number of orders that I got in the month. If I baked 30 cakes in that month, I'm going to estimate that I use an average of what? Just going to divide 50,000 by 30, times that I've baked, and I'll arrive at an amount that will tell me, okay, I spend 1,666 naira every time I bake, right? So I'm just going to take that and put it here and say electricity, right? Now, I've added electricity, I've added my assistant's wages. If you pay yourself wages by every baking you do, you want to put yours there too and say maybe CEO's wage, whatever you like to call it. If you want to pay yourself maybe 10,000. Now, the reason I'm including this is if it is a wage, if you don't pay yourself salary. If you just pay yourself by what you bake, right? Let's say you pay yourself 10,000. Okay. Now I've added 10,000. The last part of it, which is always tricky for people, is your depreciation. Now, for me as an accountant, if I want to help you with your costing, my question to you will be, what are the things that go into your baking? Let's assume you've told me all these materials up here. I've recorded that. You've told me about your fuel. You've told me about your wage, assistant wage. You've told me about electricity. You see the math we did here. Just gonna put that in yellow. Then CEO's wages right there, you know. Now the question is, what else goes in there? You use equipment. Obviously, there's something we all know, depreciation, right? But this one is tricky because a lot of people do not know how to calculate their depreciation. Now, that is one of the reasons I built the Ultimate Excel record keeper. I'm just gonna pull up one here. Just gonna pull up one and then show you. Hopefully you can see when it pops up. But sorry if I'm digressing. Can you still see my screen? Can someone tell me?
Yes.
Okay, and good, thank you. You can see this tool right here. I'm gonna show you how to do your depreciation, but I just want to show you how easily it could be done with this tool if you have it. So pretty much if you go into assets here, all you need to do is to just put the dates. Let's say today is June 6th. Yeah, today is June 6th. And then you have maybe a mixer, right? So you're just gonna click on your assets, I'm gonna call it equipment and say mixer. Maybe you bought your mixer 250,000 and then you Googled it and said, okay, this mixer that I bought, what is its average useful life? If Google says 7 years, or you read about it, if it says 7 years, you just want to estimate, okay, 7 years, just gonna put 7 here. If I put 7 there, notice how this changes and it starts to calculate from June, right? Now, what that does for you is that it puts the depreciation automatically in your income statement. Your depreciation will now pop up here. Okay, I have to do something quick here. Let me take this out. Now, your depreciation for June is 2,976, which obviously in your income statement, you can see it. It has put it there automatically for you. Now, let me minimize this. It looks like I'm digressing, but I'm just trying to tell you this can make your life even easier if you want to be calculating your depreciation. Now, let's go back to the class. Let's say you have a mixer, you know. Now you have your oven. You have, all this your big equipments that you don't want to expense. You might want to just expense all your, what's it called? Bowls, mixing bowls, and all of that. You don't have to call those ones your assets. But let's just use mixer and oven, for example. Let's say your mixer, like we said, is 250,000. Your oven, sorry, that's 25 grand, 250,000. Your oven is 100,000. Sorry, I don't know, maybe 200,000. Now you have a total asset here of 450,000. The tricky one for you is that you're looking at it and wondering, okay, what should I charge to each order? Now, you remember that we said there when we researched it, let's assume that the mixer, the useful life before the mixer gets bad is 7 years. Let's assume 7 years as well for oven, right? So what you want to do, because it's gonna last for 7 years, you take this, you divide by 7, to get how much you need to depreciate per year. So that says 35,000. I'm just going to drag that down. That says 28,000. Now, this is amount per year, right? Just per year. Then you want to know per month, right? Now, because there are 12 months in a year. So that amount per year divided by 12, right? And and this divided by 12. So now you have your amounts per month. You can just apply this at the end of the month, this two, to say, okay, this is your depreciation every month of your equipment. But you can also apply it by order. Now, here, if you remember, we said you get 30 orders on an average a month. So you want to know how much to depreciate per order now. So what you just do here is to say, okay, since I get 30 per month, this divided by 30, that's almost $100. This divided by 30. So now you know how much to add to this, your costing. So this is your depreciation. I'm just going to put that amount here, 178 Naira, and say depreciation, right? Now, for this order, you have calculated almost everything you can remember that goes into it. So all you now need to do is to just do a total sum, right, of all these other expenses and your materials. When you add all of that together, you get a total of 15,676. Now, this is total cost of order. The question now is, so we have 10 minutes to go on break. I will tell you once it's 5 minutes to go. And then everybody will have to click on the link again to join back, and then we'll start asking questions, okay? I think I have someone in the chat room. What's going on? What about rent? Good question. So yeah, obviously, I totally forgot about your rent. So if you pay rent, same thing, same idea. This is why I'm trying to explain to you how to do it so that you yourself can own it. You won't have to reach out to another accountant. I don't want you to go to another class after this class to try to learn how to cost. If that happens, I will feel like a failure because I'm trying to empower, to pass on the knowledge so that you will be able to do it yourself. Thank you for mentioning rent. So if I come here now and say, okay, there's rent, and I pay, let's just shift that down. Oops, I was meant to do shift down or shift sideways. Insert, shift cells down. Okay, one more question. Please, do we get a recording after the class? Yes, you will. That will be maybe tomorrow after the class, right? And that's why I want to stop it also when it's almost 40 minutes so that I get the recording, and then we'll come back and just take questions, right? Please do not forget, once we get off, you have to click on the link to join back. Please don't forget, it's not the end of the class, okay? All right, anyways, so let's say you pay rent. I'm just gonna get another number, 30,000 a month. And also you want to spread this over your order. And we said you get 30 cakes per order. You can decide to do it any way you want. You can just put it in your profit or loss as a monthly rent, right? Or put it there per order. So per order will be 1,000, right? So I'm just gonna come here and say rent, 1,000, okay? It's not that difficult, and this is what I wanna teach. Once you do this once, okay, you can see that your cost now is 16,676. You're now thinking, now that I know that what I'm about to do is gonna cost me this much, what should I charge my customer? That will be your real pricing, right? Some of you may have you may have given your customer the price before. If you've given the customer 30,000, it means that pretty much your profit here will be 30,000 minus this, right? Your profit will be 13,323. If you have not, and you want to arrive at a price, then you can say, okay, how much do I want to make on this? Then you can say, okay, maybe let's say 50%. It depends. This one is your prerogative. You want to be competitive. You don't want to send away your customer. And at the same time, you want to get value from what you've done and make profit. So if you say 50%, you had that, and then you go 50% this plus this. So I want to charge my customer 25,000. If you say 100, you can see how the number changes, 33,000. You can round it up and say 34, right? At least you know that you must not sell that cake less than 16,676. Because if you do, you're running at a loss. But if you still sell it at 16,676, good. You get to pay yourself your 10,000. You get to cover all of these wages, and then you know that you make no extra profit, no profit from that. But anything above this will be your profit. I hope it is clear. Please, put something in the chat room if it is not clear as snow or clear as the mud. Let me know. Now, if there are no questions, this is what I want to teach you. Let's say you've done this and you know that you make this type of cake every time, right? There's no point redoing it. All you need to do is just do this, right? Click on this and say copy, create copy, okay, and call it whatever cake you call it, maybe fondant cake or icing cake or whatever. Now, once you do this and hit save here, or save a copy, because mine saves automatically. If I take this off and I say save, right? It means I have saved it. All I need to do every time is to just come here. If the prices increase, I'll just come here and say, okay, I don't need to redo all of this and remeasure it. I'm just going to update my price. I've gone to the market again. This price has gone up. I'll just call it 30,000 and see everything will change. Once that is 30 grand, everything here will go up 1, 2, you see, it will just change. So now your life is easy. You've automated the process. Now you have a costing template for fondant cake. If your costs increase, you can just come here and just enter it. And every time you already have fondant cake. If you have another type of cake, you can just say copy again and say, move a copy, create copy, move to the end, click OK, and call it icing cake, right? So, and then every time, all you need to do is just update the numbers. Does anyone have a question? Any questions, please? Okay, so I have nothing in the chat room and I have no questions. So, is it clear? I need someone to tell me something. Is it clear? If it is clear to you, please just indicate, please.
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
We didn't add water.
If you pay for water, yes.
Yes.
Do you pay for water? Yes.
Yeah, you pay for water to wash. That's
Yes.
very important as well.
Obviously, yes. That's great. Now, you see, this is what I love. You're now thinking about all the other things that go into it. Now, easily, you can say, okay, water in a month that I spend is, my water bills in a month is maybe 10,000. For out of the 10,000, if I bake 30 times, you might say, okay, 10,000, I'm just gonna throw that here, 10,000 divided by 30, my water bill is 333 per order, just throw it in, right? So, yes, thanks for that question. Okay, so any other question before I just, say, let's stop the class, take 30 seconds break so that I can record what we've done. Make sure it's saved because I don't want to lose that. And please, everybody, click on that link again once this class, once this ends, right? Sorry, you want me to scroll down shortly? Yes, I've scrolled down. What do you want? Is that all you wanted? Busola, is that the right person? Are you okay now? Okay, so if there are no questions, okay, I just missed 1 minute of the lesson. So sorry, what part of the lesson did you miss? Anyways, if you missed any part of the lesson, everything is recorded after the addition of rent. Oh no, one of us just mentioned water. I did not add water into it, but you could just bring it in here. Just insert, shift cells down, water costs, just type water, we type 333.33, and you see. So, anything you could think of that goes into making that cake. needs to be costed, needs to be added onto this. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna come back. Washing soap, great. Yeah, the list is endless. The list is endless. You're right. Washing soap, you use fondant, right? You have to add your fondant to your direct materials. Whatever you use, just make sure you have a measuring unit, how to do, how to divide, and all of that. Okay, so we're gonna stop here, and then please click on the link afterwards and get back into the class. I just want to save what we have so far. Okay. Thank you. Stop recording.